Welcome back to Just Passing Through. Today we're going to go over some of the equipment that we use. So I'll start off right here with this box. In this box is my jacket, my hunting coat, pants, my harness. Harness is very important. Hunter safety system with a lifeline. That way you are safe climbing up and down out of the tree. My pants, like I said, I got a jacket. But what this is for is I started smoking my clothes this year. And it actually smells real good. It smells like a hickory. And it seems to work. I didn't have any deer spooked when I was wearing my clothes out of this. They didn't seem to care that I was there. Some of the videos that you'll see in the future, you did see one where the buck was in the fog. That was my first hunt with smoked clothes, and that he didn't even know I was there. He heard me and he saw me move, but he didn't smell me at all. He even circled downwind of me and still didn't smell me. The key part with smoked clothes, which I found, was that the neighbor behind my property, he has a wood burner and he's burning wood all year long. So they're kind of used to that smell. If you're out and you're not anywhere near somebody that uses a wood burner, it may not work as well. So moving on. This is my hunting backpack. It's a Fieldline camo. I've actually just changed out to a new one because this one's kind of torn, and my new one has a few more pockets that I can put stuff in. But inside I have a butt out for after you harvest your deer. This baby works great for cleaning them out. Cleaning out the intestines and the rectum and getting all that nasties out of there. We have my drag line. I always carry an extra hook to screw into the tree so I can either hang my bow off of it or my bag off of it, because some of my trees don't have them, so I always carry one. Or if I decide to hunt from the ground, I'll always have one if I don't go in a tree that already has one. Graduated to this thing a couple years ago, and I will not go back to a regular knife. This thing works great. It basically unzips the belly of the deer, and you don't have to worry about getting into the bladder or the intestines or anything with that. It works really good. I have my rangefinder just in case I don't know exactly my limits if I'm in a new spot. Spots that I typically go to, I have trees that are ranged already. This is key though for anything if I'm in a new area. Always carry rags with me. Two reasons. One is to clean up any blood if I do harvest a deer. Other reason is if I have to use the bathroom and I don't have my toilet paper. Comes in handy. And a headlamp. I always carry a headlamp too, because you never know if you're going to be out there going out in the dark or coming back in the dark. Always carry a headlamp so you know what you're walking through. I don't have in this backpack, what I usually carry is I carry a thing of matches or a lighter and some paper, which you can use a rag as well, just in case you do get stuck out somewhere and it's cold or you get stuck. Some people go out in public land and get lost. In case you get stuck somewhere, it's always nice to be able to build a fire to stay warm or heaven forbid you have to stay out overnight and you have to cook something because you're hungry. But those are in my other bag that I didn't bring out this time. So we'll go on over onto this side. This also goes in my bag. It's a machete, because a lot of the areas that I hunt when I go public land, it's pretty thick, so I always carry a machete. Going along with my smoker, the stuff that I've used in the past, which seemed to work pretty good, I was just trying something different this year, is Dead Downwind. I've used this many times with my Windy Hill Whitetail doe urine. Both of these I use together, and I have not had a deer smell me in the past 5 years using these two together. I have not had a deer wind me at all, downwind anytime. Works great. I guess we'll go on to the weapons. This here is my compound bow that I use. It is an Athens Exceed. It's an older bow, but it works well. I have no complaints with it other than my age now. It's getting kind of heavy for me. But I have True Glow sights, 3-pin sight, a Ripcord arrow rest. It's a drop away. I also have an illuminated light for my sights or for my pins, but I got caught not at night, but in getting into dusk. I was in a tree and I had a couple deer come back on the back side of the tree where I was at, and the tree caused a shadow on my sight and I couldn't see my pins at all. So that night I came home and I invested in that. And the very next time I went out, a very similar thing happened to where it was right next, it came behind into a shadow behind the tree. And I turned my light on, it illuminated it just enough to where I could see my pins and the deer. And I made a perfect shot. Deer ran 20 yards, dropped in the creek back. Actually, it was back right on our property in the back. So yeah, it worked great. Crossbow that is here is a Barnett Recruit. It works well. My sons have used it. My nephew, he just harvested his first doe. It was earlier this year. It was Race's first doe he harvested with this Barnett. All right, now we're gonna head out and see if we can find some blood, which I don't think you're gonna have a problem finding blood on this one.
No. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get it. There she is. I see her.
That is her,
You see her?
I think. Yep. That's her.
Yeah. So go up and touch her back. She move?
Nope, she's dead.
There she is, buddy. And we'll go ahead and get into the arrows. With the Barnett, I use the Carbon Express pile driver bolts with the Schwacker broadheads. I like the Schwacker broadheads. I can get into that here in a minute. But that's what I use for the crossbow. And then my compound bow, I use the Gold Tip Hunter Pros. I really like them. I have Luminox knock so I can see it and follow it with the camera. It shows up pretty well. But the Schwacker, let me come around here. Schwacker broadheads I like a lot, especially these ones that are the 4-blade. Whenever it enters the deer cavity, it actually opens up so that these blades never touch anything on the outside of the hide or bone. They hit more of the vital organs, so they stay sharp. To where these blades back here, these are the ones that will actually hit the bone and the fur and the hide. So whenever it hits the fur and the hide, it'll hit the bone and it actually opens up like that, so that these interior blades stay sharp and it does better cutting. I have not shot a deer and not recovered it with the Schwackers. I've had blades come off in them, or I've not recovered the deer. But with these, I've never tried any other mechanicals. These are the first ones that I looked at after I researched and seen how they actually operate and the reasoning behind the design. And last but not least this is my dad's Mossberg 500 12 gauge. This is what Isaac shot his first buck with earlier this year.
Cock it. You shot it. You got it good.
Make sure it's poke it with your gun, kick it, do something with it. Yeah, he's dead. 8 point. Nice. Kind of kicked off the whole YouTube channel was with this gun right here. It shoots well. The scope is sighted in. It's a Simmons. We haven't had any issues with it. It never jams. We clean it, but not very often. Not as often as we should. But it's never jammed on us. The doe that I shot in the cornfield was with this as well.
Yeah.
I'm back on a normal deer path now. There's still pretty good blood. Little rub. Right there. Oh, there he is. I see her. Not that small. Okay. All right. But practice, always practice. Just because you have the scope and a good shooting gun, or even crossbow and a compound bow, even though you have them, practice with them. Especially a compound bow, practice with them. Because you only get better. A gun you can take out once, shoot it. If it's hidden, good, it's sighted in. Same thing with a crossbow, you shoot it once, it's sighted in. But you get up there and you get this deer, and up there you're gonna start shaking. It doesn't matter if it's a doe or a buck, you're gonna start shaking. And the more you have that muscle memory from the practice, pulling up, breathing, getting your breathing under control, you'll still be shaking, but that muscle memory will help. And in practice, compound bows are a little bit different because you're out, you have it drawn all the way back, and you'll start shaking. It's good to have that practice of drawing back and holding, and just waiting. And it'll feel like you're waiting for an hour, which is only going to be like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but it'll feel like an hour. But the more you practice, the more your muscles are used to it, it'll make you a better shot for harvesting an animal, because nobody wants to shoot at an animal just because they don't practice much and they get a bad shot, or they they get rushed on a shot or make a bad shot because they're not used to the gun's not shooting right or the crossbow's not shooting right. Don't want to make a bad shot and have a deer suffer, any animal for that matter, but we focus more on deer because that's what we hunt. So thank you for joining us on another episode of Just Passing Through, or JPT Ministries. It's just a little bit of what we carry. Well, actually, this is everything that we carry out there besides the camera equipment. But if there's any questions, put them in the comments below. We'll try to answer them the best we can. I know there's a lot that I get my mind. I think I'm saying stuff, but I'm not saying it. So if there's something that I may have missed, let me know. And like, subscribe, put some comments in there. Tell your friends. See you on the next episode.